Cash Crew back again with another episode. I'm back where I rightfully belong, right here in this chair. Well, virtually. So I'll say it virtually. Vlad, how you feeling?
I'm good. Welcome to another week's episode here with Sports Cash, where we talk everything sports and the business behind it. We have a different spin episode this week. Obviously, we do like to talk about the business of sports, so we definitely going to take a deep dive in. But before we get started, we have some headlines to touch bases on.
Yeah, definitely wanted to talk about what was going on outside of football and basketball, like we usually do. The Olympics started, and there are some shockers that went on before we even lit the torch, and some after we lit the torch. So for some of you have been looking at this and paying attention, but most people haven't. So our Wonder Girl, Naomi Osaka, or as we should properly say it, Naomi Osaka, decided that she was not going to participate in a big time match before the Olympics. And going into it, people really didn't know what was going on with her, but it turns out to be a lot of mental health issues. Just trying to stay sane in a world of hers that is revolving around tennis. What is she? How old is she, Vlad? She's 23.
Yeah, she's
So
around there,
that's
22, 23. Yeah.
that's an age where you're trying to figure out who you are, and especially for her playing tennis all these years. And after watching her documentary, it really made sense to me why she's been struggling, because she has always been the chaser, and for the first time in her life, she's being chased. And so when people say it's lonely at the top, that's what they mean, is that you really lose some motivation because you're at the top. And so you have to set different goals. You have to fight against yourself. So we're praying for Naomi Osaka. We want her to do well, want her to be able to be at the top of her game. And if tennis is not doing it for you anymore, young lady, take your time off and do what you got to do. We'll be here when you get back. Same goes for the wondrous, the illustrious, the greatest, one of the greatest athletes of all time, um, the decorated Simone Biles. She withdrew from Tokyo as well after what she got the twisties. I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up. Twisties happens where you basically get up in the air, and with Simone Biles, she's doing all these different stunts and stuff that people can't do. That's why she's the greatest. But she got into the air and completely lost where she was, which is extremely dangerous. You can land on your face. And so once that happened, luckily she landed, but once that happened, she withdrew. So two giants in their respective sports. Just happens to be that they are both Black women. And of course, leading the charge on mental health. This is good. This is good for all areas of sport. And we want them to do well, and be with family. So just keep that in mind as you're cheering people on in their sports and you don't know what happened to them. All right, that's the headlines. What we got
Absolutely.
next?
Oh, man, we have a great episode this week. We are going to talk about the other side of sports, the business side, the money side. And there's no better way to start off with a lot of people's GOAT, a guy that's been in front of the limelight for what feels like 20 years now. He's been on the cover of ESPN since the age of 16. He's played on ESPN at the age of 16. He's been a very sought out player since 8th grade. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it is the first Black and also active athlete in history to ever earn $1 billion in his career while still being active, and that is LeBron James.
Black or white?
Black or white, so athlete in general. But if you guys don't really understand the magnitude of what's going on, we are literally experiencing history in real time right now. Just to give a little insight, I know right now it seems like a norm that, all these athletes come into the league and they make a lot of money. And obviously, the NBA is dominated by Black athletes. But let's not forget, Black people were not allowed to make this type of money not that much long ago. And
Hmm.
now that, we have our first just athlete in general, and you just so happen to be Black, to have $1 billion in career earnings in the year 2021 is very, very amazing. So shout out to LeBron James. So we're just going to dissect how this all started, where the money come from, and obviously the money ain't stopping now. It's going to keep flowing. And, what's the future it's going to hold for him? Obviously, unfortunately, he's not going to be playing for the next decade. He probably got 2 or 3 more years until he hangs it up. So, but obviously he has a lot of things set up to keep him afloat, to keep the cash rolling in. So we'll definitely dissect into that. But I think the appropriate way to start off is let's start from the beginning, right?
Hmm.
LeBron James, 2003. 18 years old, gets drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers. First contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is so crazy. This was over a decade ago. 4 years, $18.78 million. That was his first contract. Sounds
Wow.
like chump change. However, he did break ground by signing a $90 million Nike contract, which I believe was the first for a rookie, if I'm not mistaken, for that amount, and for how long that contract was, which was definitely groundbreaking. I remember myself around that time, I was talking to my uncle, and I was just in amaze, like, oh my gosh, like, did you hear about LeBron signed? Because at that time, $90 million in '03 to '05 that's a lot of money. A lot of people is nowhere near making that type of
Hmm.
money. And I remember telling my uncle, I was like, man, you heard about LeBron? He just signed $90 million with Nike. That's crazy because obviously Nike's a way bigger company now. Shoe culture is extremely huge now. But for an 18-year-old at that time to sign for $90 million was just, it was mind boggling. I mean, it was something we never seen. I definitely didn't think it was going to be something that we were going to see at that time. Obviously, now shoe contracts are out the wazoo left and right for a lot of these athletes, but at that time, a lot of athletes were not even getting contracts, and if they were, it's definitely not for that amount. So it definitely changed the projections of it, but something that really, really got him into the jump start of his career.
I'm looking that up to see what 90 million was. It was about 132 million in today's money.
That's some people's contract. Like
Hmm.
that's some people's max contract in their prime in the NBA right now. So it's definitely nothing to shy away from. But before we get to the off court money, let's dissect into the on court money. LeBron has signed about one, two, three, four, about 6 to 7 contracts throughout his career. And obviously every year it goes higher. Obviously, like we stated, he had the 4 year, $18.78 million contract with Cleveland the first year. And obviously he re-signed for another 4 years for 60 mil. And then the big decision to go to Miami. Um,
Hmm.
this was also groundbreaking because at that time, the big three, what they did, signing that 100 mil contract, definitely changed the game. That was the first time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and you had two stars. No, I mean, sorry, 3 stars on the team that earned 100 mil at the same time. Um, to this day, I'm still surprised how Pat Riley got that done, but
He didn't. It wasn't him. It was Adam Simon. It was Andy. Was I don't know what his last name is. But he ain't do the numbers.
well, whoever was behind the numbers to make that work, phenomenal work. LeBron signed a 6 year, $109 million contract, which obviously he didn't play throughout the whole 6 years, opted out and decided to go to Cleveland. Went to Cleveland, signed and this is where it got real interesting. LeBron was literally a magician along with his agent Chris Paul, and this was started the 2 year contracts, the one with the play
You
option.
said Chris. You said Chris Paul. You
Oh,
said
I'm sorry.
Rich
I'm sorry.
Paul.
Rich Paul. Rich Paul. Rich Paul. I'm thinking about off season. Rich Paul, the goat of the agent industry right now. And LeBron went and started signing 2 year contracts, which everybody was shaking every year he kept doing it. Didn't know what was the reasoning behind it, but of course, LeBron always has a method to his madness. Signed a two-year deal for $42 million in 2014. Signed another 2 year in 2015 for another 2 years, $46 million, and then signed a 3 year with a play option in 2016 for 3 years, $99.8 million. And obviously, we know he left and went to LA in 2018, which he signed that 4 year, $153 million contract with the Lakers. And last offseason, I'm sorry, not all last offseason, earlier last year, he obviously said, I want to stay with the Lakers, and signed another extension for 2 years for $85 million. So he's definitely learned how to get the bag up front for short terms. Definitely gave his team flexibility as far as money to go sign other guys. That's why he's able to play with Anthony Davis. And now he's able to play with Russell Westbrook, which we will talk about in the coming weeks with off-season talk. But he's learned to, just like Brady, get your money, but don't kill the bank. And, you know, when you look at it, yes, he never signed long-term contracts, 5-6 years, but he still averaged about $40 million since 2014 and on in his career, which is very great money, 40 plus every year. But the most interesting...
that's what I was looking at too, because I saw that he's number 2 highest paid small forward, technically by position. Number 1, Kevin Durant, $1 million more.
Yeah. But what's
number 3? Just random. I just want to say number 3. What do you think number 3 is?
Now, is this based off right now or just career wise?
This season.
Kawhi?
Nah, Jimmy Butler.
Okay, I was going to say Jimmy Butler next, actually, after Kawhi, but I was going to say Jimmy Butler next. I'm not too surprised about your Jimmy Butler one. I'm not too surprised about that, actually.
Kawhi's not even on this list, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
Maybe that's why he's going to get a new contract with the Clippers.
There you go.
However, the most fascinating thing I could say about this is LeBron has definitely showed he's not selfish. We all know what LeBron can do on the court, and LeBron could easily ask for the Supermax 2 times or 3 times throughout his career, but he never did. There's actually been times where LeBron wasn't even the highest paid player on his team. Definitely wasn't the highest paid player in the NBA some years, which will be mind-boggling to a lot of people, but he's definitely learned the approach of get the money, but don't kill my team in order to sacrifice for the championship, just like Tom Brady did, and Tim Duncan did. And he's done very well, but he's also learned to, yes, I might miss the bag on the court, but I'm not missing the bag off the court, which is a good way, which is what we're actually going to get into, because that's where LeBron has made the vast majority of the bulk of his money, which is crazy from the time he got into the league to now. Just a short rundown on his resume of endorsements, his career endorsements from the time he got to the league to now.
Look, it's going to take a while.
Yeah, it's a list. He has had Nike, McDonald's, Blaze Pizza, Beats by Dre, Sprite, Upper Deck, State Farm Assurance, Audemars Piguet, Dunkin' Donuts, Samsung, Kia, Verizon, Intel, AT&T, GMC, Pepsi, Renua, and Walmart. Now, some of these endorsements, obviously, he doesn't have anymore. I believe he doesn't have McDonald's anymore once he signed that contract with Blaze. I don't think he has State Farm anymore. Also, Samsung, I think once he left Miami, I think the Samsung deal was over. Dunkin' Donuts is over. Verizon's over because he's with AT&T now. And I believe Pepsi.
I know for sure the Walmart is still there.
Walmart is fairly new, and it's good that you brought up Walmart. The biggest shocking thing with that Walmart is Rimowa, which if you guys don't know what Rimowa is a luggage company that makes luggages to travel. Which so if you ever check LeBron's IG and you see a lot of luggage, that's Rimowa that he has. Um, Great luggages, by the way, a little pricey if you got the bag, but with Rimowa and Walmart alone, those two companies, that brings in 100 mil annually for LeBron.
Man.
So these are not just penny contracts endorsements that he has. These are big time endorsements. Obviously, some of them are longer, like the Nike one. It's a lifetime deal. LeBron did sign a lifetime contract with Nike a couple years ago, which sealed his relationship with Nike forever. And which actually been reported, LeBron is making $130 million annually from Nike alone. Another bag. LeBron, obviously, we know with the Sprite commercials, because I don't know if you guys remember back in the day with the puppets, the LeBron puppets, and the LeBron.
I love that commercial.
Man, I wish the NBA would go back, or man, that's one thing I wish brands would go back is to the storytelling of commercials like they did back in the day. Because those Kobe commercials, those LeBron commercials were just it made Tuesday and Thursday basketball a lot more enjoyable to watch. But if you guys remember those LeBron commercials where he had the puppets and the alter characters, the old grandpa and the athlete and so on, those were Sprite. And those were deals he had with Sprite for a long time, which brought in a big bag. Over, I think he had that contract for a decade. But a lot of these other brands, GMC, if you guys have been following LeBron for a long time, GMC now owns Hummer. And if you guys remember, the biggest backlash LeBron got before he got in the league was when he was in high school, because he was 16 years old with a Hummer. And they said, how in the world could you be able to afford a Hummer, driving to your games, and you're not making money? Who got this for you? And fast forward over a decade now, he has a endorsement deal with them, and he's actually the brand ambassador for the first electric Hummer that's coming out. So full circle turnaround. You know, they try to hold you down, now you're getting back from it. But the biggest one I like is the Walmart one, because that's one that endorsement is also tied with his school in Ohio, the I Promise school. This one is able to help kids obviously get supplies for back to school, which school is about to start back up again. Get underprivileged kids laptops and so on. So a lot of these deals, yes, he's getting the bag, but it's also helping his lifestyle, as you can see with Ladder. That's how LeBron's able to stay in shape. If you ever watch LeBron on the court when he drinks out of that black bottle, no, it's not no secret juice. It's endorsement deal he has with Ladder. He also AT&T, if you ever see him on the AT&T commercials, with him, and I believe Serena's on there too. That's for all the tech side of his lifestyle. Verizon obviously for his cell phone. So, and Renoa for his travel purposes. I'm sorry. So a lot of these deals is not just for the bag, but it's also to help his community. But hey, it doesn't hurt to have a nice lifestyle also too.
I think that's one of the biggest things that people need to take away from LeBron off the court. The things that he is getting a piece of or being a part of are things that he uses in his everyday life on and off the court. So as an investor, you can look at LeBron and take away many, many lessons because you can literally say, man, if I'm going to be paying for this, I'm going to, like we talk about investing all the time. I love Target. So it was no brainer for me when I first got started in investing to invest in Target. Like them, they got to start paying me for shopping over there. Like that's how I think LeBron and his team has thought over the years, and it's inspiring for investors. So just take notes.
Absolutely. One of the best investing advice I've received throughout my investing career is invest in the things you consume. Be a consumer investor. If you use, like you said, if you use Target all the time, invest in Target. If me, I'm an Apple fanboy. I'm Apple everything. So it will be behoove me to not get paid from Apple. So when the new iPhone come out, guys, please go purchase it so I can get a check. Appreciate you. But LeBron also has took it a step further, and this is where the brilliance of him and his team has really captured the business. And before I get into that, there was a story I heard from his business partner Maverick Carter on the podcast of the first deal they did that really was like a big deal. As you guys know, LeBron is a very fitness guy, always stays in shape. Always, making sure he's in tip-top shape for every season, works out all the time. And basically Maverick Carter explained the first deal they did. And the thing about their team, like LeBron always calls them the Four Horsemen, they learned the secret to flipping businesses, right? And Maverick Carter explained the first deal they did. This is before Rich Paul became an agent. This is before Maverick Carter came on the scene. This is literally when Maverick Carter just finished his internship with Nike. And at the time, LeBron was training in the offseason. And true story, they were trying to get LeBron from running because apparently running on pavement for a long period of times was not good for your knees. Because LeBron and Mav, they used to do long runs, like 13 miles, whatever. So they said, yo, instead of running on pavement, if we can get you on a bike, one, you'll burn more calories, and two, it'll preserve your hips and your knees. So they went from running to biking. They used to do, 13 to 20 miles. And over time, LeBron used to like this, I forgot the name of the bike, this specific type of bike. And he ended up getting in contact with the company. So here's a little business tip for our athletes or non-athletes. There's different type of equities you can get. There's financial equity, then there's what we call sweat equity. And what LeBron did was, at the time, obviously, this is 2006. So yes, LeBron had money, but he's not LeBron what he is today. LeBron used and leveraged his influence in his face for this project. This company went from, this is crazy, and I hope I didn't miss anything or I don't say it wrong. They went from almost shutting down the company because sales were not too good to in 3 years, the company got bought from another company and LeBron made $60 million. And then Maverick Carter said that was the first time he ever got his first big check. I think Maverick Carter got like 30 grand up front or whatever. And he was like, after that, he was like, I have to learn how to flip businesses, how to leverage businesses. And if you guys really, and this is the nerd research side of me, if you guys really pay attention to how LeBron does business, it's almost very similar to how Jay-Z does business. Put your face front, build it up, blow it up, in a few years, sell it, or let another big company take over it and cash out. Let's go into LeBron investments. Currently, right now,
Cannon, that was it. Cannon bicycles.
Thank you. That's the name.
I want to say.
LeBron Investments currently right now owns 14 Blaze Pizzas. By the way, if you've never been to Blaze Pizza, phenomenal. Whether you eat meat, don't eat meat, they got great toppings, great service. The pizza's top notch. I love it, and I don't.
They're not paying us for this.
And they're not paying us for this. But Blaze Pizza, if anybody works for Blaze Pizza and hear this, we would definitely love to have a sponsorship sponsored by Sports Cash. But I'm a big Blaze Pizza advocate. Love them. He currently owns 14 Blaze Pizzas in the Midwest, and obviously he owns some in Cali too. This is where the big bag came from. LeBron is a stakeholder in Fenway Sports Group. There's two sports teams that LeBron's a part owner in. Red Sox and Liverpool Soccer Club. However, the buy-in for that ownership, that part ownership, was $735 million. It costs to play. But LeBron is a very intelligent person who Boston Red Sox has been winners and at the top of baseball outside of the Yankees for at least all my life. And Liverpool, if you guys obviously, if you guys follow club soccer, just won a championship the other year. So these teams are getting fist over on LeBron's return for him. Then the second bag that LeBron got in his investments, Beats by Dre. Most people don't know
one of my favorite ones.
Most people don't know the backstory of this. How Beats by Dre really, really got on the scene and blew up was, if you guys remember that Redemption team in 2008, right? I believe when they told the story, Jimmy Iovine had contacted LeBron and said, "Hey, got some new headphones that's coming out. You want to test them out?" Sure, of course, free product. Yeah, let me see them. LeBron loved them so much. He said, "Hey, I need 15 pairs. I need to give them to my teammates." And the genius in LeBron said, "Hey, guys, when we go to open ceremony, when everybody dress up in their USA attire with the Ralph Lauren and then all the other countries come out," he said, "when we walk out on that stage, everybody has to have their Beats headphones on." And that's how Beats got on the scene and blew up. They said the moment that happened, their sales went 30% plus through the roof. Because everybody watched the Olympics, right? And you probably got the world looking at you. You don't even just have USA. You have the world looking at you. Fast forward 2014, Beats by Dre gets bought by Apple for $3 billion. And everybody was so focused on, obviously, the head, Dr. Dre, and how much he cashed in, which, by the way, guys, he's not a billionaire. I know a lot of people out there think Dr. Dre is a billionaire. He's not. He's very close, 800 mil, but not there. But again, LeBron being a silent investor, LeBron was able to cash in $30 million from that investment, but also continue to have his endorsement with them, which obviously you guys, if you saw LeBron every game before the game starts, while he's warming up, he always has his wireless Beats by Dre headphones in. This is part of that deal. But LeBron was able to cash in $30 million in 2014 just for being a part owner and also having the endorsement deal by Beats by Dre. Also, fast forward, Spring Hill Entertainment, aka the media company that LeBron has with his business partner, Maverick Carter. This is something I definitely knew LeBron was going to get into because LeBron has been in the eyes of the camera for quite some time. LeBron's been viewed in a couple movies. I don't know if you guys remember in 2008 when he came out with the movie More Than a Game, where it gave his background story of him in high school and how he won the 2 championships up until the point where he gets drafted. He also
I do remember that.
Yep, that was his first movie. Also, he was in The Story of SpongeBob, Trainwreck, Smallfoot, and then, of course, the movie that brought him, I believe, $32 million in the first weekend at box office, Space Jam 2 this year. His new coveted movie that was supposed to be the second sequel to Michael Jordan's movie. Apparently, I didn't even notice that movie was in talks for the past 7 years.
Of course. I mean, he went to La La Land for a reason, and that's to get on the big screen. That's what's going to carry him after he leaves the sport. And that Space Jam, there's a reason why it's not called Space Jam 2. It's called Space Jam: A New Legacy. And that is just really appropriate for what LeBron is trying to do. He's trying to create his own legacy. Although, the old heads, the Michael Jordan lovers will always say that he's following in Jordan's shoes. I don't see what's wrong with that. Jordan is a billionaire. So I don't see what's wrong with that at all.
I
And
don't
then,
either.
create that movie. I didn't watch it. I mean, I know what it's all about, but I knew it was going to be a hit. Whether you hate it or love it, haters was in the movies too. So
Absolutely. So we can definitely see, LeBron is already putting things in place to transition to the other part of his life outside of basketball, getting into the entertainment world. And he already has a entertainment company, um, Spring Hill and Spring Hill Company, which also is part of an uninterrupted. From that's what it's called, right? Which he has a show called The
mhm.
Shop, which I love. If you haven't, it's on HBO Max. Check it out. Has different cast on there all the time. Great show. But Spring Hill Company already has a valuation of $750 million. And hasn't even been out for a decade yet. So definitely have built up a big media presence. Like you said, I strongly believe that was one of the other reasons, outside of course of winning championships for a historical franchise. Definitely wanted to be in LA, be amongst the stars, be in the realm of things, be by Hollywood, because he definitely is putting his stamp moving forward post his basketball career. And also, LeBron has learned the game too and passing down to his, like you said, legacy, right? Let's talk about Bronny. Bronny gets the deal with Face Clan. If you guys don't know what Face Clan is, it's the
And this
sports.
surprised me, honestly, when I
It
saw it.
yeah, right. Um, we thought Bronny was going to be on the face of Sports Illustrated first for basketball, but he actually got on this cover of Sports Illustrated first for gaming. Um, and signed a $3 million contract. But LeBron also got his money too. LeBron got a contract with Fortnite and Epic Games. So
I didn't know that.
yes, LeBron, that's one of his newest addition of endorsements. He has a deal with Epic Games now, which is tied to Fortnite. So for all those Fortnite players, you can download, I think, different LeBron covers and skins. I don't really play Fortnite, so I don't know too much of it. I play Fortnite a little bit, but not enough to know every little detail. But apparently, you can download different skins, and LeBron has his character on it or whatever. But yes, he has to deal with Fortnite now, which is very big because guys, pay attention to what's going on with Twitch, YouTube, and the gaming world. It is blowing up. EA Sports is blowing up. LeBron definitely hit the nail in the coffin with this one because Epic Games makes all the legendary games that most of us has played since childhood, and he's definitely has seen. Obviously, he has two younger sons. Gaming world is not what we know in the past, so he definitely has capitalized on that. And I believe in the next 5 years we're going to revisit this, and that Epic Games endorsement is going to be a big chunk of one of his endorsements down the line in 5 years, in my opinion.
You know, what I like the most about that, in terms of Bronny, it gives Bronny a way for him to just be himself. That's something that he's good at, that his dad has no name in it. And I'm sure he went into Fortnite because his kids are always playing it. So that's really cool to show and see that Bronny really is taken from his dad. Put your face into place and make it work for you. Being that you're LeBron James Jr.
I mean, that's the way to do it. As a parent, you definitely want to pass down the keys down to your kids. You want to pass down the blueprint. Um, but he's definitely showing the way. Like, hey, you're going to go to the league, but you're going to learn the off the court game too. Just like I did. LeBron has made two times what he's made off the court than he on court. That's why he's able to take quote unquote pay cuts like he does and do 2-year contracts because he knows on the back end he's getting a way bigger bag than what he is on the court. But for a lot of these athletes, athletes that's in the league, athletes that's training to be in the league, guys, pay attention. Just like nowadays we always say, always have a side hustle to your 9 to 5. If you're an athlete, start building your brand, start building your business now, because as you can see, there are big bags to be claimed off the court. Capitalize on your likeness, capitalize on your personality, and capitalize on your lifestyle. I really like how LeBron has really structured this from top to bottom. If I'm a young athlete in the NBA, I'm definitely, if I have the chance to really dissect this, because he's showing the blueprint. Like, hey, you can be a phenomenal athlete, you can make a lot of money on the court, but you also can have a great life off the court and make a lot of money off the court too, and get a
Off
lot
the
of
things that you already use.
exactly, and the things you like. Um, and you can put your friends on, you can put your family on, and you can put on generation after generation after generation after generation after generation on. So definitely something that I see in the future that's going to happen for a lot more athletes, especially with the social media emergence, with technology emerging. This is just a start. I believe in the next decade or so, we will see more athletes get into that $1 billion status while they're still playing in their respective sports. But LeBron has definitely paved the way for a lot of athletes, not just basketball, but all athletes to really, really be, I could say, a walking brand in your respective sport. So shout out to him.
Yeah, man. Hopefully Kendall Vildor is next.
Oh, that's in the workings. That's in the workings. So before we wrap
Yes,
up,
sir.
you guys wonder how he got to the bill, right? 387.3 million dollars on the court and $700 million off the court in his career, which equates to $1 billion in career earnings. Guys, he did this in less than 20 years. Bron's only 36. He got in the league at 18. So
Incredible.
in 18 years, he's able to equate $1 billion in earnings. And currently LeBron's sitting right now at a net worth of $480 million and counting. So again, this is something remarkable. Me being a sports advocate, but also being a very, very deep business advocate. This is something astonishing. This is something inspiring to a lot of athletes, but also non-athletes too. You don't have to be an athlete to go get the bag. So if you're a young athlete out there, and you're building, your career on the field, be sure to take some time to build it off the field or off the court too, because you can't play your respective sport forever, and you definitely want to keep up with the times and definitely want to keep up with your earning potential off the court and set yourself up forever. So it's definitely one I say it's, if you want to talk about the ultimate American dream, this is one of them for sure.
Yeah, I think for years to come, his career and his business dealings off the court most likely will be a Harvard case study. A business, any pick an Ivy League school, and it's going to be a case study. It has to be, because it's what him and his team and how he's raised the young men that was with him, how he's raised them and put them in spots. And they didn't just take a handout. They went and got, things that helped them build those businesses. Carter being one, Rich Paul being another. Those are the names that we all recognize, but there are so many others. I mean,
Paul Revere.
I can't. Rivera. I always think of, he's out of the limelight. People don't know his face, but these are all multimillionaires that got it within their own right. They used LeBron's fame, but they got into a position where they were in the rooms by themselves. So this is a case study for all athletes and really all people who are in business.
Absolutely. And the biggest lesson here is you can go far by yourself, but you can go even farther as a team. LeBron, yes, he is the face, he is the brand behind everything, but His team elevated him. His team worked with him to get there. And like he said, LeBron has $1 billion earnings, but he has the other four horsemen with him that's multimillionaires also. So that's just to show, even for the non-athletes, you build your dream team, you build your dream life, and that's what he's done.
Yeah.
For these past 18 years and counting. So definitely
I think that
something.
phrase is like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Correct. And he's definitely gone a lot further. And and everybody around him is, people he's been knowing for 10 plus years and longer. So definitely, man. I know we always talk about him on the court, but when you look at his resume off the court, I think it's just as impressive, what he's able to accomplish in these 18 years. And I'm just excited to see what he's going to accomplish in the next 20. Because, he seems old to be on the court, but LeBron's only 36. 36 is young. And when you look at life, and definitely he has somebody in his back pocket now that is in LA, aka Magic Johnson, that's definitely showing people how to get the big bag. So I'm really, really interested to see, once LeBron's finally done hanging it up on the court and his jersey in the Raptors, how he's going to turn it up off the court. I do believe he will become a solidified. I'm sorry, billionaire eventually down the line. I know that's one of his goals outside of winning 6 championships. And I think it will come. I think there's a lot of things that's in workings that we probably don't even know about that's working on now. So it's definitely something to keep your eye on and your ears in tune to. But again, a remarkable story, something very, very aspiring and inspirational for everybody, sports advocates or non-sports advocate, to strive for. So on that note, thanks for tuning into this week's episode here with Sportscast.
I like that one.
Be sure to tap in with us every Monday at 7 p.m. on Clubhouse as we discuss various sports topics. And also tap in with us on social media on sports_cash_ to stay up to date with all current and future episodes. And leave the notification bell turned on. Anything else?
No, that's it. All right, Cash Crew. Until next time.
We see you next time.